Hello, my name is Carmela Alfonso, and I'm your teacher in understanding culture, society, and politics. Today, we are going to talk about status symbol. First, let us know the meaning of status symbol. A status symbol is a perceived visible external denotation of one's social position and perceived indicator of economic or social status. Although which things act as a status symbol changes over time, they are always linked to the primary differences between the upper and lower classes within the society. Now, let's go on to the important ideas and issue about this topic. A century ago, the idea of paid work as anathema to the leisured Victorian gentleman whose social status was demonstrated by how much time he could spend on unpaid leisure pursuits. What a contrast with today when working long hours has become a status symbol for busy professionals and social position seems to be determined by how much we do, not how little. The complete turnaround in the relationship between privilege, social position, and objective indicators of busyness is explored in a new study of Professor Jonathan Gershani, director of the Institute for Social and Economic Research. On from this, busyness now reflects an aspiration to high social status. Status symbol also indicate the cultural values of a society or a subculture. For example, in a commercial society, having money or wealth and things that can be bought by wealth, such as cars, houses, or fine clothing, are considered status symbols. In academic circles, a long list of publications and a securely tenured position at a prestigious university or research institute are a mark of high status. Luxury goods are often perceived as status symbol. Example may include a mansion or penthouse apartment, a trophy spouse, or a luxury vehicle. Let's move on to the persons who give statements about status symbol. John C. Williams stated that food has always been a class code, and since Alice Waters, the way to give an upper middle class act is with a food that is fresh and local. The class code of the upper middle class literally links morality and political virtue with certain forms of high intensity food preparation activities. Listen, to be modernized, it doesn't mean to be rich or wealth or by status, but to be rich in wisdom. By M.H. Rakib. Those who cannot win trophies and medals, they create status symbol for themselves. By Amit Kalantri. Before we continue our discussion, lend your ears and watch this video.
Do you own any status symbols? Do you look at other people's status symbols and think those people are better than you? Hey everybody, this is Bob Cargill. Do you know the history of this logo? Do you recognize this logo? The crocodile logo. Let me tell you the history about this logo. Rene Lacoste, great tennis player, 1926, 1927. He was ranked number 1 in the world those 2 years. He won, I think it was 7 Grand Slam tournaments, championship tournaments. A great tennis player. And he wore a tennis shirt with the crocodile logo on it. His nickname was Crocodile. And he eventually founded a company that made those shirts with the crocodile on it. And those shirts were eventually licensed to Izod. Izod, Lacoste, crocodile emblazoned tennis shirts. Those shirts became a huge success story. That brand took off. Phenomenal success. It's still around to this day. But that brand hurt. How? Let me tell you how. Growing up, I was very fortunate. My family was fortunate. We had a house on the vineyard, Martha's Vineyard Island. We weren't rich, we weren't wealthy, but in the summer it was a fairly wealthy summer community. But our house had been handed down generation to generation. We were fortunate. Big summer house. And in the late 70s, early 80s, my formative years, if you will, mid-teens, late teens, early 20s for me in terms of age, all my friends, it seemed, on the vineyard had the crocodile tennis shirt, the Izod Lacoste tennis shirt. That's what they wore. That was the popular shirt. And I was jealous. I was envious. I wanted one of those shirts. I felt left out. I felt smaller than them, figuratively speaking. I felt less of a person. I felt poor. I didn't feel part of the clique. And at that age, that hurts. Status symbols. I eventually realized, grew up, matured, aged enough to realize that status symbols are no big deal. It's not the logo on your chest. It's what's in your heart that counts. But status symbols can hurt. The cars people drive, the clothes people wear, fancy watches, big bank accounts, impressive job titles at work. Status symbols can be used by people in positions of power. Status symbols can make others feel inferior. What about you? Young or old, we are surrounded by status symbols. Wherever we go, whatever we are doing, status symbols are everywhere. Logos, brands, material things. But status symbols are just that. They are symbols of something that may or may not even be real, of something invisible. They are symbols.
Now, let's proceed to the unmarkable history. In some past cultures of East Asia, pearls and jade were major status symbols reserved exclusively for royalty. Similar legal exclusion applied to the toga and its variants in ancient Rome and to cotton in the Aztec Empire. Special colors such as imperial yellow in China, royal purple in ancient Rome, were reserved for royalty, with severe penalties for unauthorized display. Another common status symbol of the European medieval past was heraldry, a display of one's family name and history. Napatunayan sa ating mayamang kasaysayan na nahati na ang lipunan ng Filipino sa iba't ibang uri bago pa dumating ang mga Kastila. Ito ay ang alipin, timawa at maharlika. Ang pag-uuring ito ay nabago sa paglipas ng mahabang panahon. Dahil dito, maging ang mga bagay na karaniwang sumisimbolo sa bawat antas ay nabago din. Sa katunayan, dati simpleng bahay, alahas at kotse ang karaniwang status symbol ng mga mararangyang Pinoy. Therefore, I conclude that nowadays it's very difficult to define the meaning of status symbol due to the blurred distinctions between social classes of people. The goodwill and level of status of a human being can be reflected on the basis of the clothes and accessories worn by him. Instead, one's social status is seen not in the frequency of indulged luxury, but in the quality of it. Let's capture the outcome of this lesson. We need to realize that we will not be fooled by status symbols. We don't want ever feel inferior due to being surrounded by status symbol. Don't let status symbol affect you in a negative way. Walk tall, stand proud, and be your own brand.